Now, Bruce, the biggest announcements today and the changes are happening in the state of Maryland. Governor Larry Hogan's administration ordered all public schools to close starting next Monday the 16th until Friday the 27th. And there were a lot of other big announcements today across the DMV, so I want to take them one by one. The state superintendent said that all schools and buses will be disinfected while schools are out. They're also working on a plan to keep services like meals going so that children don't go unfed. And the government is directing hospitals to adopt new visitor policies. One example that he gave is limiting patients to one adult visitor. Hogan also activated the National Guard to get ready to help in case they're needed. Now, the Port of Baltimore, they announced that they're going to close cruise ships. Yeah, and the government is ordering all large events to also be canceled. Now, let's talk about questions that are going on in Virginia. Governor Northam declared a state of emergency today. He stopped all out-of-state travel for state workers, and he canceled state-organized events. There are 2 new cases in Arlington and Fairfax counties, and we're told that the patient in Arlington was associated with the Christ Church in Georgetown. That's the one we were telling you about where the pastor tested positive. And Fairfax has its 3rd and 4th cases. And for anyone wondering when or if Virginia schools are going to close, they said they're going to work with the Department of Health to make that decision. And Bruce, we have 2 more closures in the area. We have Arlington National Cemetery. They're going to be closed to visitors starting tomorrow. And then we have the Smithsonian Museums, and they're closing starting Saturday.
And this is the beginning.
Literally.